We are here to talk about securing RSTUF. We will explain, of course, what is RSTUF to secure your supply chain. My name is Kairo. I'm a software engineer at Eclipse Foundation. I'm part of the security team there. And I'm one of the authors and maintainer of RSTUF, Python TUF, and other supply chain projects. With me here, we have my colleagues, Eric, you want to go next?
Yeah. Hello, I'm Eric Sesterhenn. I work at X41. We do source code audits, penetration tests, and I was part of a team that was auditing RSTUF.
My name is Helen Woeste. I joined the Open Source Technology Improvement Fund 2 years ago. I run communications and community outreach for that organization.
Okay.
Just a quick overview of what we'll be discussing today. We're going to break down this discussion into groups. So each one of us will take a turn talking about our respective organizations. At the end, Kairo will wrap up talking about the future of RSTUF, as well as our information if you would like to help contribute to any of our organizations.
Okay, what about RSTUF? So the project, the repository says for TUF, it's actually an implementation of the update framework, where we implement it as a service for easy integration for anyone that has any kind of repository. So this is, as I mentioned, is an implementation from TUF. So if you look at the definition of the update framework, it maintains secure software update systems protection. Besides, I don't like too much this definition because it's beyond of that. It's any kind of content distribution, right? Doesn't matter it's just software or documents, any kind that you want to distribute, TUF can help you to make it secure. Of course, the roots of the update framework was software update, but it's even RSTUF can be used beyond of only software. You can do any kind of artifacts you produce. So, as I mentioned, TUF is used for securing content distribution and any kind of artifact. And RSTUF is the easiest way that you can secure your content repository because we don't care too much which kind of repository you use. Of course, this will not a talk about TUF or RSTUF, just saying what the project does. But let me just make clear how RSTUF can be easy to use. So first thing is like RSTUF can be integrated for any kind of artifact repository. Doesn't matter if you use a JFrog artifactory or a registry or a S3 bucket to store your artifacts, or HTTPS server, or even the old FTP server you have behind your desk. I hope you don't, but if you have, it's okay. RSTUF can make it secure as well. So the way that we do, it's RSTUF contains APIs that you can integrate to your software development lifecycle, your CI/CD. So you keep doing your software or content, even let's say image, whatever, the way that you do this and release it to your artifact repository. So you can easily integrate it to your CI/CD, for example, and keep doing as you do. The thing is, RSTUF will be one more step during this process. And the advantage of RSTUF is because we are talking about cryptography signing, how to easily rotate your keys. Or even if you have a security incident like we saw before here, like you leaked some key that you signed your artifacts, you can easily rotate and you don't need to go to each your client and claim that this is my new key that I'm signing. You don't need to do this. The TUF client will do it end to end. And as I mentioned, the benefit will be in the end of the clients that they can trust in your artifact repository. Even the artifact repository gets compromised, they will have a layer of security that they can trust in what they are getting as an artifact. So just to brief how RSTUF is designed, RSTUF contains 3 components. Basically, we have one API service that is meant to be the integration and the management of the RSTUF ecosystem and the TUF keys and so on. And we have the worker. The work is where TUF resides. All the knowledge about TUF is there. And all the computation about the metadata that is generated and signed, but I'll not go in details about that. And of course, we have also a command line that used to reference implementation, because you can integrate it to your own UI. For now, it is used as a management interface for our stuff, but it's more a reference. You can do your own if you want. So let's go next to.
Thank you so much. As I mentioned, my name is Helen. I represent the Open Source Technology Improvement Fund, or OSTIF for short. Our organization, which celebrated our 10-year anniversary just this May, works with open source projects to organize and champion their security engagements from start to finish, including sourcing funding, fixes, and publication process. The work is designed to be lightweight on maintainers, key stakeholders, and result in positive security outcomes for the community. In late October of 2024, what started as an idea at the 2024 Open Source Summit became an actualization when OSTIF received an approval to move forward on sourcing a proposal for an audit of RSTUF's API and components. After discussing with the RSTUF team key aspects of the proposed work, it became clear that a firm with experience in the TUF would ideally cut time and labor off of the beginning of the audit and could start the main scope of the implementation of the detailed client workflow of the TUF specification, the safety of the NG client library, and the metadata API. Knowing this, we reached out to X41 to judge their interest and ask for a proposal based on their previous work with GoTUF and Python TUF. The resulting proposal was then shared with Kairo and the RSTUF community for review and approval. Once the votes were counted and OSTIF's recommendation considered, X41's proposal was approved, and we moved forward with connecting the invested individuals in a more specific level. When scoping and managing an audit, there are project-specific issues to address. In this case, we had to consider the alignment of timelines between all the parties to ensure maximum amount of involvement by stakeholder individuals. When maintainers are volunteers, respect for their time and their needs is of utmost concern. By selecting a team with TUF experience, the less time maintainers had to spend answering questions about the project framework, and the more time allotted for this work could go towards security-specific issues. Key to all of this is open, transparent communication between us and RSTUF, between us and X41, and all of the key stakeholders like OpenSSF and the community. Defining a universal method of communication that everyone can access creates provenance and eliminates confusion. Having connected X41 and RSTUF, aligned on timing and communication, and mutually agreed upon a scope of work, it was time to start the code review.
Yeah, I want to talk a bit about what's the goal of such an audit, what are we actually there to do, and how can open source projects profit from that. And the first thing we usually do is we try to create a threat model. It can be more informal, more formal. It always depends on the time of the project and how much time we have in total to do so. But for most open source projects, it's the first time that they actually think about, hey, what is our attack surface? What is actually a threat for us? What are the things that should not happen? Which mitigations do we have for these, and are they actually working? And yeah, quite often this is also something that helps them in the long run, because that's knowledge that's built up and transferred. So that's part of the audit. That's way more than, hey, we found these bugs. Please fix them and you're done, right? It's a long-lasting impact. And yeah, of course, usually we find some kind of bugs. We try to report them to the maintainers. They try to fix them. We have a look at the fix to make sure everything is nice and shiny. But we also try to do knowledge transfer. We talk about the bugs. We try to get the maintainers interested in the security issues. quite often people start to get this feeling of, okay, this is hacking, it's interesting to break things, let's switch from developer mode into hacking mode. And then they look at their stuff from the other side, and quite often in these talks it's like, oh, if you found that bug, I think we have a bug here and there as well. And this is helping them quite much. Also, we try to point out things in the documentation that might range from spelling mistakes to things that are hard to set up for us in the project that help long term. We try to not only find security bugs, but also things where you could harden your project, where you could improve security and start creating security in depth. Every now and then we also create fuzzers, which are tools that create random input to your program and try to find crashes that way or unexpected behavior. So an audit for us when we are dealing with OSTIF and open source projects is way more than just pointing out some bugs. And last but not least, we try to not annoy the maintainers. I hope we managed for you, because we know quite often people don't have many resources, they are low on time, so we try to find out in the initial discussions how much time can they spend. Should we try to do a meeting every few days? Should we just do our work and then come back with the results? What's the best way for the maintainers to do this? And I think this is not only important for proprietary customers, but especially important for open source projects. And I guess so far we always found a way with the OSTIF to deal with that. If a project says, hey, we need another month to fix these issues, hey, no problem, right? At some point, please publish the report so people are aware of the bugs, but we don't try to create a situation where there's pressure on the project. Yeah, the timeline from our end was we got the proposal or the RFP in November. We created the proposal, discussed what's the best time to do the audit, and in March we released the report after Kairo had enough time to look at everything, and every party was happy with the release. And now we come to the boring part. Usually this is the part when I talk about audits where I either do a technical deep dive in one of the bugs because it's very interesting, or I show you a graph with all the criticals we found. But yeah, in this case, we didn't even get out the CVSS calculator. Everything we found was an informational and like a side finding. And usually I would not go on stage to talk about this, but I think it's also important to show that Kairo and RSTUF did some nice decisions in their project that made it hard for us to find anything interesting. They rely on TUF, which does all this nasty crypto stuff, and so he does not have to deal with it in
That's
RSTUF.
why it was boring for him.
Yeah. So there's a whole class of bugs that just cannot happen for him, right? And he also clearly specifies when RSTUF or in what environments RSTUF has to run. So he assumes there's a proxy in front of it that does user authentication. So it's another whole class of bugs. He just does not have to deal with it. And I think it's, while I'm always that if I don't find a proper bug, I think it's also important to highlight that certain design decisions and clear documentation of them can really help your open source project to avoid several pitfalls, right? Release.
So, and we are glad to announce that, RSTUF 1.0 is out. So, besides it's boring for security audit, but it's out there, it's ready for production. You can secure any kind of a repository, as I said. You can reach us to know more details about that. And what is next? We are planning new features because TUF can be very flexible, and RSTUF want to add more flexibility on that with new features. So as much people can use and come to our community and say what they are looking for, like what they want, we will try to to achieve that. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited to be here. It's been wonderful to work with these two on this work. If you'd like to support RSTUF, please do. Please support your local OpenSSF project. They would love any and all, I'm sure, contributions you can give. If you'd like to talk to OSTIF about security audits, security and open source in general, our work with OpenSSF in particular, we've got a great email to work at, contact us at ostif.org. You can see a repository of our full 120 public audit reports on our website. And Eric is with X41 D-Sec out of Germany. They're a fantastic partner of ours, info at x41dsec.d. If you'd like to talk to him or Marcus, his business partner, about anything resulting with security, open source or not. Thank you so much. Do we have any questions? I know we took the words right out of your mouth, so thank you so much for joining us.